season.
Hi. Yeah, I'm back after I think a month or maybe more than that. Well, a while ago I've made a podcast titled the ZaTheLean podcast, where basically it's a podcast with my siblings and we're just talking. But I don't know, we got lazy to do it, so it's just kind of unfinished. So I'm gonna start a new podcast where I just ramble about stuff, just go on and on about whatever I feel like talking about, and it will act sort of like those extra videos, apart from my main stuff. I guess it's just those cool extra things you could get before I finish my bigger videos. But yeah. Now, before diving into the actual topic of today's podcast episode, I'm just gonna advertise a little bit here. I'm not very active on YouTube much because I don't know. I'm a procrastinator, so I wouldn't be working on YouTube videos that often. So yeah, whenever I finally come by and upload a video, it would probably take a few months because of my sheer laziness. But I am most active on Discord, semi-active on Instagram, you can go check that out, and mostly active on Album of the Year. I literally make album reviews like almost every day, so you can go check that out if you want to. If you guys feel like it, you can pop by my SoundCloud. I'm making a new album right now, cooking up something new. So yeah, okay, can finally start the actual video. Sorry about that. Now, for the first episode of this podcast, I'm gonna talk about a very special record, to me at least, and that would have to be Japanese dream pop band Fishmans' second last studio album, Long Season, and their magnum opus record and their most popular album. This album, I think it changed my perspective on pop music, because it's pop, it's dream pop, but it exceeds the limits of what people think pop sounds like. Like, when I first heard it, I refused to believe it was pop because it just sounded so different, and I don't feel like it's rock either. It does have some post-rock inspirations, but I wouldn't call it fully rock. It's a 35-minute neo-psychedelic dream pop one-song album with some post-rock, Shibuya-kei, and dub inspirations to it that makes it really stand out. And the 35-minute track is divided into 5 separate sections, all with their own unique standout moments within them. Another unique thing about it is its sheer emotional drive through the music and the power carried within Shinji Sato's vocals. It's one of those albums where you don't even have to understand the language to feel the music. Another great example of this is Sigur Ros's Agatis Björn. I probably butchered that, but it is what it is. Heaven or Las Vegas by the Cocktail Twins, and maybe Dots and Loops by Stereolab, but I'm pretty sure they speak English in that record too. Just kind of a mix of French and English. But yeah, it's one of those albums. The sad part about this album is that once it released, it was practically unknown outside of Japan, and it was not very popular within Japan either. But only until recently, 2010s, because of the internet, it blew up. It blew up on music boards, music websites, whatever, and became popular among critics, among the music community, and that helped it gain its popularity. The tragic thing is, the Fishmans blew up after their frontman, Shinji Sato, the vocalist and the guitarist, passed away at the age of 33 from heart failure. So, Shinji, if you're seeing this from heaven, this podcast episode is dedicated to you and your band, your amazing band. Okay, I'm gonna get into the separate parts in the album now. Now, this record opens up simply with a splash of water, and right after it, there's just this groovy and catchy bass line that just hooks you up, gets you invested within the music. already dive straight into it with no nothing. It just quick like that. And then right after this funky bass line started, this almost hypnotic psychedelic guitar riff comes out of nowhere, and it's just so hypnotic. And I think that's one of the main highlights of this album. It's one of the main things that make this album so memorable. And then the little bass line and the guitar riff goes on for a little bit, until holy hell, man, once the drums kick in, once they suddenly come out of nowhere, that's when things get really good. That's when things start to really pop off. And then the almost ascending keyboard plays out, and just like with the guitar riff, it's probably one of the most iconic riffs, melodies, whatever you call it, from this album, that really make this memorable and stand out. And it's just like the guitar riff, it's so hypnotic, so psychedelic, and yeah, it's just amazing. And then from the first part to the second part is just this super catchy, super energetic, but also super relaxed, laid back and chill pop section. And I think it's probably one of the most memorable parts in the album. And yeah, it's fantastic. It's fantastic to listen to, and probably one of the most iconic parts of the album. And then for the first 8 minutes where part 1 plays, it's just so awesome. It's probably one of the best 8 minutes in music of the 90s as a whole, because holy hell, it's so good. And it goes on for a bit, and the pop sound continues on in part 2. It slowly strays into part 3, which is this ominous, somewhat disturbing, experimental bit, where it's just this cacophonous, slow-moving monster of a section, and it just completely engulfs you in this mysterious atmosphere. Like, from part 1 and part 2, they engulf you into this beautiful, lush, and serene landscape almost. But then once part 3 hits, it's like you've entered a dark forest or somewhere you're not supposed to be. It's all mysterious. There's nothing that resembles a proper song, and it just sounds. The only thing that resembles a song is probably the drums. The drums go crazy on this track sometimes, almost out of nowhere. It catches you off guard, and it's just scary as hell. There's reverberated water drops. There's this ominous whistling, like it's coming from somewhere in a forest, like what I've mentioned earlier. And yeah, it goes on for so long, which I'm glad they did, because it really captures that atmosphere. It's like they're trying to make you forget what Long Season originally felt like in the first 2 parts, and it tries to switch up the mood. And then slowly, very slowly, part 4 comes rolling around, and with part 4, it acts sort of as a bridge to part 5, which might be one of the best parts in Long Season next to part 1. Like, oh my god, it resurges back to that funky pop sound, and it is the peak, the height of Long Season, and that really makes going through part 3 so worth it. All the instrumentation, they all come back, and it's just so perfect. The Fishmans managed to perfect part 5 in the best way possible, and managed to give a solid conclusion to Long Season. And solid is an understatement. This is peak, the peak of Japanese dream pop, and maybe the peak of dream pop as a whole. I can't find a better dream pop album than Long Season. Maybe a dream pop album that comes close has to be Heaven or Las Vegas by the Cocktail Twins. If this counts 𝐒𝐒𝐑𝐃, then yeah. Actually no, Sigur Rós is better, but still, Long Season is the peak of dream pop. And with part 5, this 35-minute epic concludes perfectly. And the fact that this is not even the best rendition of Long Season from what I've heard is crazy. It is beyond me. And I actually have not listened to the live Long Season yet, because I'm saving that for later, as I'm doing a Fishmans discography dive. You can go check out my journey on Album of the Year. As of recording this, I've only checked out Long Season and Chappie Don't Cry, so their debut. So yeah. So tell me, what do you think of this record? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Tell me in the comments below. And if you want to check it out, please do. This is a must listen, like a heavy must listen for you. And obviously this is a 10 out of 10. It's an incredible album. and incredible is an understatement. So, and by the way, if you really like these things, these podcast kind of things, don't worry, I will do more. It will take some time though, because I'm super lazy. You know me, I'm a procrastinator. And if anyone's wondering about the Godspeed You Black Emperor video, it is coming eventually. It is going to take so much time because I haven't worked on it for weeks because of laziness, sheer amount of laziness. And once it comes out, you have to have insane patience to even stand it. Unless if you want to play in the background, then sure, because it is insanely boring with minimal editing. So yeah. Okay, bye. Hopefully you enjoyed this podcast, and I'll see you in the next video. If you tell me your thoughts on long season comments, and yeah, bye.